What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another Tottenham update. I know it's strange, just me here by myself without my other half, Ben, who's unfortunately is going to be indisposed for today's update, but you just got me to contend with. But let's get right into the news. First of all, we have Ali Gold, the famous Here We Gold. He says, Daniel Levy is still believed to be undecided over appointing Nuno Espirito Santo. He is concerned that some have compared his style to Jose Mourinho, and there is a fear over the reaction the chairman will get from fans at the first home game of the season. Now, if he's scared of the reaction of the first home game of the season, he better resign, because whether we appoint someone who's popular or not, he is in for a frosty reception. There's no doubt about it. People have many questions over the hierarchy's handling over the whole managerial situation. So regardless of who we appoint at this point, I think Levy is definitely under fire. When it comes to comparing Nuno to Jose Mourinho, I think they are very different. And Nuno plays three at the back. He likes to use that wing-back system. Yes, he can have a fairly pragmatic style of play, but I wouldn't say it's very similar to Jose Mourinho. He likes to get the width involved. He likes to sometimes even have two strikers up front, whereas Mourinho has favoured the 4-3-3. So I think they are definitely different styles of play within a pragmatic kind of system. So I think those fears are not founded. And also, you can't select a manager. Yes, you have to listen to the fans, no doubt about it, but you can't select a manager just purely based on fan reaction. And I think that's a big problem with Daniel Levy. He's playing too much. He was also, first we've criticised him for not listening to the fans, but also he can't play too much into the fans. He's got to make his own decisions. And if Paratici and Levy think Nuno's the right man, then you've got to go for him. You can't think about what the fans are going to think. Gattuso was a different case. That was non-football related issues, but for Nuno, if you're just thinking about football related problems, I think the fans can have too much of a say at some point, and you have to pick someone. And if you really believe Nuno could take us forward, you got to go for it. And yes, I don't want him in per se, but I've Paratici is a believer that Nuno could be a big success at Tottenham. I'm willing to give Nuno a go, and I don't think he's an awful coach. Anyway, moving on. This is from the MEN in Manchester. They say Man City will walk away from Harry Kane deal unless Tottenham keep their expectations realistic. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't bother Tottenham if Man City walk away, because obviously we want to keep Harry Kane. So I don't see a downside to this right now. Yes, we know Harry Kane is desperate to leave, and Harry Kane wants to be playing Champions League football next season, which he's not going to be getting at Tottenham Hotspur. But a threat for Man City to walk away is not going to scare Tottenham off in any sort of any way, shape or form. So I think it's a bit rich for Man City to threaten to walk away if Tottenham aren't realistic with their demands. I think Tottenham are well within their right to demand top dollar for one of the best strikers in Europe, who has 3 years left on his contract. So I'm not really sure what Man City think they're playing by trying to threaten to walk away if these rumours are believed to be true. But Fabrizio Romano goes on to say Man City board are considering board considers it's complicated to sign both Grealish and Harry Kane this summer. Spurs have refused Man City's opening bid for the striker. So they're sounding out Jack Grealish at the moment. It sounds like I don't think they're going to be able to spend 200 million on Grealish and Harry Kane. So I think that's a tall order for any club, especially Man City. It's probably going to be around 250 million for both of them as well. So they probably are going to have to pick between the two. Grealish is probably more attainable, I would say, than Harry Kane this summer. And that definitely would complicate things, but they definitely need Harry Kane more than they need Jack Grealish, seeing as they do have a number of wing forwards right now in Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres. They've got a number of players in those positions, so Harry Kane, they don't really have a true number 9, so that's why I would say Kane is definitely more of a priority for Man City. But we'll have to wait and see. That's what Romano is saying on Jack Grealish. Moving on to ABC Deportes and Fabrizio Romano both reporting. First of all, Romano saying Jules Koundé is no longer an option for Man United because Tottenham Hotspur are going for him. And ABC Deportes from Spain are saying Tottenham are interested in Jules Koundé. However, the player's preference is currently to move to Real Madrid. I can see this one rumbling on until late into the summer. It's not going to be sorted while the Euros are going on, seeing as he's away with France. So this is going to to rumble on for a while. Obviously, he's a very talented centre-back. I talked about him yesterday with Slav. Love him through the door. Versatile, can play right-back and centre-back. Has got bags and bags of potential. 21 years of age. Was a star for Sevilla. He's got so much pace, and he's got great reading of the game. And I would love him through the door at Tottenham. He's a player who has a really, really high ceiling and could be a very big defender for France and for whoever he signs for next. Obviously, they're saying Real Madrid is his preferred option. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he decides to go to Real Madrid ahead of Tottenham right now. But I think this one is going to rumble on. I don't see this being sorted out anytime soon. But obviously, I'd love him. I'd love him at Tottenham. I think he's going to cost a lot of money, though. But last update, but not least, it's about Steven Bergwijn. Bergwijn is wanted by Ajax this summer, but Tottenham are reluctant to sell. They would want the 27 million they spent on him back, but that's obviously from the Daily Mail, so take it with a pinch of salt. But I believe Steven Bergwijn's a player with a lot of potential. I wouldn't want to sell him right now. I think we haven't seen the best of Bergwijn or the last of Bergwijn for that matter. So I definitely would look to keep Steven Bergwijn going into next season until we see the true value of him. And that value of 27 million could easily double going into next season. And even if he continues to have another poor season, we could still get, I reckon, about 20 million for him. So his value wouldn't drop significantly. So I wouldn't sell him even if we got that 27 million back. I would look to keep him for another year. He's still young, 23. He's got time on his side, so definitely look to keep him, Steven Bergwijn. Bonus story for you guys: has Wales have crashed out the Euros 2020 4-0 to Denmark in a inspired Denmark performance, who look like one of the most informed teams right now at the Euros. Another dazzling display. But Gareth Bale, very interestingly, after the game, was having an interview, and he was asked whether this would be the last game he's ever going to play for Wales, and he stormed out of the interview and didn't even answer the question. He looked fed up with that question. He looked angry at it being asked at him. I wonder, people read, obviously you can read it two ways. Maybe he doesn't want to reveal yet that he's retiring from Wales, or he's just angry and sick and tired of these questions being labelled at him when he's still got so much to offer, and he's still 31, still fairly, he's not young, but he's not at an age where he's set to retire. So he's probably angry at those questions. He's probably fed up of the journalists asking them, and that's why he's stormed out the interview before even being given the chance to answer. But I thought that was an interesting tidbit, and maybe people can read that a few ways. It's interesting that Florentino Perez has already been talking about Gareth Bale, and he said he's a great player. He scored many goals in finals for us, and obviously he's a fantastic player. Didn't confirm whether he'll be part of Real Madrid next season or whether they're going to let him go, but it looks increasingly likely with Ancelotti back at Real Madrid, he's going to see out his last year at Real Madrid next season. But I'll just run that through again. Ali Gold saying Daniel Levy not sure yet about Espirito Santo, so it looks like that deal could rumble on about the manager for a few more days. Jules Kunda Romano saying Man United no longer in for him. MEN are saying Man City are going to walk away from the Tottenham deal if the price is not realistic. Mail Sport are saying Bergwijn is of interest to Ajax, but Spurs are reluctant to sell. And obviously Gareth Bale storming out his interview when asked if he was set to retire from international football. That is your Tottenham upvotes today. Let me know in the comment section below anything you want to say on those stories. Thank you for joining me as well. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.